Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Taking Toys Too Seriously, the series where I talk about more serious matters in the toy collecting community. Things that kind of, pique my interest because they're either topical or they're things that aren't so good. And today, in the midst of the recent price hikes, especially from Hasbro for toys, I really wanted to talk about the price hikes because this is not a cheap hobby anymore. It used to be. It used to be a fairly inexpensive hobby. To put it into perspective, let's rewind about, let's say 10 years ago. Let's go for a straight 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, a 6-inch action figure like this would have cost us about $15. So $15 for a Marvel Legend or for a Black Series, even though Black Series didn't really exist 10 years ago. We're getting close, but not 10 years ago. For a 3 3/4 inch vintage collection figure, that would be about $9.99. For a deluxe Transformer, depending on where you find it, you'd be looking at either $12 to $15. And for a Voyager class figure like this back here, you would be looking at $20. Now, 10 years later, let's have some fun. So not all of these were sold for this exact price, but these are the standard retail prices that they're going for now for this kind of action figure. Marvel Legends figures have officially gone up to $25. That is about a $10 increase. They were $20 for the longest time. I think after 2013 or 2014, they went up to $20 from the 15. But very recently, they've gone from 20 to 22 to 23, now to 25. So in about 10 years, Marvel Legends have gone from about $15, like the pre-Infinite series Marvel Legends, like the ones that were on the card backs, were about $15. Now we are looking at $25. And I want to talk about with all these too, if this price increase means increased value. We will talk about that too. For vintage collection, the price hike isn't as significant. We have gone from $10 to, depending on where you can find it, either $13 to $15. But I think here soon they're probably going to give us the flat price of $15 for vintage collection figures. It's like some places, they'll still do 13 and everything, but it's definitely leaning towards the 15 side of things. So we've seen a $5 increase for 3 3/4 inch super articulated action figures from Hasbro. When Black Series started, it did start out at $20, and exclusives have always kind of had a little bit of an exclusive tax to it, especially with Black Series. But now it seems like the standard retail price is now what the exclusives used to be, and the exclusives are kind of like this one. I don't think this exact one was, but many exclusives are starting to itch up to 26, 27, depending on the retailer. And keep in mind, all of these prices are in United States dollars. Like Black Series figures, they've definitely gone up alongside Marvel Legends. Deluxe Transformers, like I said, they were about $13 to $15 where you could find them, just like Marvel Legends, if not a little cheaper. Now they are $25 for a deluxe class Transformer. That is the new pre-order price on new deluxe class Transformers. Since we are in the middle of the transition to that, there are still some where you can, it'll be $21 or $23 depending on the retailer or when it was released. I believe this Ratchet here from the Bumblebee movie was not $25. I think it was about $22 or $23 from Amazon. And Voyager class Transformers, like Cyclonus here, like I said, were $20 when they were out 10 years ago. Now we are looking at a very nice, I want to say $33 or $34 for a Voyager class Transformer. Yikes. That is quite the hike. That's probably the biggest hike out of all of these. And continuing on with Transformers, leader class figures used to be $40. Now they are $55, which is a $15 price hike, which is probably the worst out of all of these. And then like Titan class figures used to be $150, now they're $170, which is a $20 price hike. Yeah, basically over the past 10 years, the prices of a lot of these action figures have increased. Loose percentages, about 150%, if not 175%, of what they used to be. It's definitely getting pretty extreme. The prices are definitely going up and up and up, and this has been a gradual increase. I feel like a couple years ago, I think the COVID-19 pandemic is definitely a factor in this, because I know supplies and materials are definitely limited and logistics are definitely going up in price. But when it comes to the prices going up, we also want the quality to go up, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, in that 10 years, we have gone from like 15 to 25, 20 to 34, 35. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how these price hikes have just been going up and up and up. And I did a poll on my YouTube channel if people are still going to be collecting with these price hikes. A few people said they're totally out. You know, they're out of the game. Prices have gone up too much. Most people said, I will still be buying, but I'm going to cut back a little bit. I think the next one down was I'll still be buying, but I'm cutting back big time. But then some people said I'm still going to be buying just as much as I used to. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, I'm probably, even though I want to say I'm going to cut back a little bit, I'm probably still going to be buying just as much as I used to. Even though I've already been cutting back, because these price hikes, like I said, haven't come out of the blue. They've definitely been gradual. Especially with exclusives. I feel like when exclusives or when new movies come out, that's when they kind of sneak the price hike on you, because then they kind of meet the exclusive price for the normal retail price. Like say for Transformers, for instance, they were $15 for deluxes, kind of going to $17 for the longest time. But I think it was with Transformers The Last Night that bumped them up to $20. And we're like, you know, maybe it's just the movie, you know, the other line isn't at 20 quite yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll go back down. But nope, everything went to 20. Everything went to 20 for deluxe class. That's definitely a shame. It's definitely a shame how these prices have gone up. Like Voyager classes at that point were 25, and then I think the Last Night made them 30. And, you know, it's rough. And like I said, current world situation is definitely a factor in this, but also it's just inflation and also greed. Greed's going to be a big one, because they know people will pay this increased price. And there's definitely one case I want to get to near the end of this video about the future of this hobby and how the price is going to go. But one thing I want to talk about with these increased prices, or impriest, if you want to put them together, are we getting more of a value? Because there's definitely some instances where I'm like, maybe, and others, nah, we're definitely just paying more for the same, if not less. Take Marvel Legends, for instance. Now, granted, 10 years ago, they definitely were using smaller Build-A-Figures, like very small ones like Rocket Raccoon and Hit Monkey. They were doing smaller Build-A-Figures to keep that $15 price. But then once they went up to $20, they were able to use larger Build-A-Figures. And also with Marvel Legends, we now have the awesome face print technology for Marvel Cinematic Universe and realistic characters. However, the prints and the faces for comic book characters basically look the same as they did 10 years ago. The articulation has definitely improved. They have innovated with pinless joints. So I can definitely say the Marvel Legends of now are definitely better than 10 years ago. Like, I actually have this Spider-Man to stand alongside my Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spidey and my Tobey Maguire Spidey. You know, I had to. And standing this figure alongside the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spidey that came out in 2014, just as the prices went up to 20, I can even tell then the quality's gone way up. The figure feels more durable, the joints are better, the proportions are better. But then again, the paint. This is based off of concept art. He's the wrong color of suit. He's more of a brown when he should be more black. He doesn't have any panel lining on the webbing. And he didn't really come with many accessories, just a couple alternate hands, not even an unmasked Tom Holland head. So, on some hands, I feel like we're getting better figures, but I also feel like they're cutting more and more corners. Same can be said for Black Series. When Black Series came out, these figures were like touted. That's one of the hardest words I can say. Touted? I don't remember. They were held to a high standard of being higher quality figures where each one that comes out is like, boom, definitive release. We'll never need to do it again. Of course, with face printing technology, that's changed. They've gone and redone almost all the old ones. But the thing is, say look at the original Black Series Han Solo. He had interchangeable hands, he had a Stormtrooper belt, Stormtrooper rifle. He was totally decked out. But nowadays we get bare bones for Black Series accessories. And when we don't get bare bones, they want to charge it as a deluxe. I am shocked that this ARC Trooper Echo and like the repaint of the Umbara ARC Trooper aren't like deluxe. Now granted they are exclusive, so they got the exclusive little price hike, but they're not deluxe. But the Boba Fett, oh man, Boba Fett's got a helmet and a jetpack? Oh man, we gotta take that price from 25 to like 34. Ridiculous. And we'll get to that. We'll get to the deluxe. But basically what I'm trying to say is in this time, almost 10 years, we have gotten improvements similar to Marvel Legends with the face printing technology, with the joints, but they're also cutting corners. They're doing a lot of body reuse. In some cases, it makes them less accurate, and in some cases, it's just plain old lazy. They're inconsistent with sculpts and bodies sometimes, and the accessories seem to be getting less and less. Like, they don't give every Jedi a robe like they should. It's, oh man. There's a reason why I don't do Black Series, right? I do the clones, but not else any Black Series. So yeah, Black Series, it's gone up, but it's also gone down. Vintage Collection actually is a different story. So this is the new Vintage Collection Bo-Katan. Please note she does not come with that shield. I just gave that to her because she looks good with it. She does come with an interchangeable head, though, so keep that in mind. This is one of, if not the very best 3 3/4 in Star Wars action figure Hasbro's ever made. I'm going to make that bold claim. This figure is absolutely amazing. The articulation's amazing, the paint's amazing, the sculpt's amazing, proportion's amazing. That was not always the case for little old 3 3/4 inch action figures. People always said, oh, it's the inferior scale, they look weird, the posability's weird. Nah, man, they are on par with Black Series. Vintage Collection is on par with Black Series in basically every department. It is on par. The only difference is the size. That's it. That's where that has gone. In these 10 years, we've gone from swivel hips to every figure having ball hinged or ball jointed hips. Every figure has wrists. It used to be a premium thing to have this kind of articulation. It was just reserved for like Commander Gree and the ARF troopers, but now it's like every figure. The face printing technology makes all these figures look gorgeous. Many of them still come with tons of accessories and basically all the accessories you really need for the character. I would say Vintage Collection has improved. The card backs, I have heard some complaints that they're not as sturdy as they used to be, as someone that has collected tons of Vintage Collection figures. And I keep all the card backs. I can say maybe the new ones are slightly, ever so slightly, not as high quality to the point where it's almost not even a complaint. I'm just going to say, it's not that big of a deal. So Vintage Collection, for the price you pay, I think the quality has definitely improved. If you look at one from 10 years ago from one today, you can tell you get a higher quality product for what you pay for. Transformers, it's an iffy one. Transformers is an iffy one because we've gone from 15 to 25 for Deluxe Class. Deluxe Class figures now cost more than what Voyager Class figures cost 10 years ago. That's a big, like, oh my gosh, that's insane thing to me. But let's look at this Ratchet here. Is the engineering on this figure fantastic? Yes. Is the sculpt fantastic? Yes. Is this basically a really nice figure? Yes. Is it perfect? No. Still a little wibbly. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. There could be more paint application, I will admit. And honestly, looking at this and kind of feeling it, like, the plastic quality's good, and I would say it is better than 10 years ago. Like, say, my old versus new on Blaster. I probably should have gotten him out for this instead. The new Blaster figure, compared to the one from about 10 years ago, the plastic quality is way better. The joints, for Studio Series, I feel like they kind of use an older standard. They're not as sturdy. We'll see this with Cyclonus here. The joints they use nowadays are nothing but sturdy. This is a very sturdy figure. It's all pins, all universal joints, all friction joints. They don't use any ball joints on a lot of these new figures. The sculpts are really good. It's getting to the point where a lot of these kind of make Masterpiece like almost irrelevant. Because why would you need a Masterpiece when you can get something that's basically just as good for a big fraction of the price? The quality of Transformers, in many cases, has definitely gone up in the 10 years. However, they also do that thing where they, like, give you a Voyager class figure with more accessories at a leader class price point. And in some instances, makes perfect sense. You get a great bargain. You get a lot of stuff with it. In other cases, it's like, you're just trying to get me to pay $50 for a Shockwave, aren't you? And yeah, that's definitely what they're trying to do. And that brings me to pretty much one of my last points. What's the future of the market here, especially with Hasbro figures? What are they going to start doing? Because I can definitely tell that what they're trying to do is see, with most of these price hikes, a lot of them are out of necessity. That is something, things are costing more. But I feel like a lot of them are, we know that a lot of these collectors are absolute suckers. And if we're going to charge over $30 for a Boba Fett, they have no other choice but to spend over $30 for this Boba Fett. We've cornered the market. There's not a $20 Boba Fett out there. You got to pay $33 for a Mandalorian Boba Fett, because that's your only choice. Because let me tell you, Boba Fett and Cobb Vanth are not deluxe figures. They are not. That is an absolute, excuse my language, fucking scam to charge deluxe price for those figures. Absolute scam. Especially since Cobb Vanth, they said, oh, he has so much paint application. They hardly painted anything on that figure. If you've actually watched reviews, the armor's painted, but almost everything else is just like solid plastic color. And I think that's what Hasbro's doing with a lot of these price hikes. They're pricing them on what people are willing to pay. And as long as Boba Fett's and Cobb Vanths sell out, I think the future of Hasbro 3.75 inch, the future of Hasbro 6-inch action figures is going to be looking at over $30 for a figure. That's what I think the future is. I'm making a prediction here. I'm going to give it just a few years, or maybe even just a couple. Hasbro 6-inch action figures will be at least $29.99. At least. Because they know people will pay it. It will be 200% what it used to be back around 2012. Insane. But I'm making my bets. Meanwhile, while Hasbro charges $25 for something like this, McFarlane Toys charges $20 for something like this. 7 inches, you get a display base, you get an accessory, full articulation, totally unique sculpt every single time. Sure, it's not pinless, but I'm just saying, McFarlane Toys, there is a reason why McFarlane Toys was one of the top performing action figure companies of last year. There is a reason. And yes, I painted his crotch black. Leave me alone. I'm a Batman purist. I need his crotch black. But yes, McFarlane is killing it. And I've seen some people make comparisons to, say, independent toy companies where, they come with tons of accessories and it's, more of like a Black Series Deluxe price point. Independent toy companies that aren't on retail shelves kind of exist in a different world than retail toy companies because they don't have to sell to retailers. They don't have to worry about shelving space. They don't have to worry about this, that, and the other. They are direct to consumer. And that price is dependent on direct to consumer. So I wouldn't really feel like that's a fair comparison to make, especially since the independence of those toy companies and the lower production numbers does also mean the price will go up, but also they might have less charges because they have less things to worry about business-wise. So, I'm trying to just think of like McFarlane Toys at this point. They are a full-blown toy company. They're in tons of stores. I see so many of their figures. They are going crazy, and they are producing more, like quantity-wise, than Hasbro when it comes to like character selection. I feel like every other week there's like a new wave of McFarlane figures being revealed or released, but Hasbro, it's like every other month, if not more. And even with McFarlane, they have deluxe figures. They charge like $40 for them when Hasbro's going like 50, 60. McFarlane has exclusives like the light up hazmat Batman. That was only $23. That was less than a standard Marvel Legend, and it has an LED light in its chest and premium paint apps. I'm just saying, like, I feel like Hasbro, they're more in the market of we will pay as much as they are. We will charge as much as people are willing to pay. But other companies like McFarlane are like, we will charge what the cost of the item should be. I'm just saying. Now, granted, McFarlane very likely will raise their prices in the near future. That's inevitable. They probably will. That's just the way the market is going. But man, action figures have definitely gone from being something like a toy line for kids and collectors to being like a collector-oriented market where Hasbro is catering to the collectors in many ways, and kids that want this stuff are struggling to get it, this, that, and the other. It's a big mess. It's a big mess. And the price hike is just one factor in that big mess. So there we go, guys. Let me know what you think about these price hikes. I will link it in the description and the pinned comment. Go to the poll on my community tab and vote. It already has many votes, but I want more votes. What are you going to do with the price hikes? Are you going to be buying more? Are you going to be buying, less? Are you going to be totally out of the game? Let me know. I'd like to see how this video works when it comes to the polls. That's the best way to let your voice be heard, is to click that link in the description and go to that poll and let me know. I will see what the number was at before the video goes up and after, so I can see how many people have gone to that. But yeah, guys, there we go. Like I said, let me know what you think through that poll or in the comments below. I'd love both. Thank you so much, guys. Special thanks to the Patreon supporters. You guys are super awesome. Support like that is a big reason why I can still buy all this stuff, even though I have to pay more for it. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.